in.
Okay.
So that's all I'm doing. I'm trying to stream it to YouTube on my YouTube channel. So that's all I'm doing. But Pam, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and then maybe everybody can introduce yourselves too? Hold on.
It says it's streaming live right now.
Yep. Yep. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So that's all I'm doing. I'm trying to stream it to YouTube on my YouTube channel. So that's all I'm doing. But Pam, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and then maybe everybody can introduce yourself too? Hold on.
Sure. I don't know what you want me to say exactly. What is everybody kind of saying about themselves?
All
Give me
right.
something to go on.
Here,
My hair looks terrible.
Go. Go, Victor.
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
you want me to go? Okay, here's a good example.
Who's going?
Hi, my
Okay.
name's Victor. I'm a Pisces. I like to go to restaurants, and I like to save puppies, and I believe in world peace. No. No, actually, I'm just messing around. My name's Victor. I am the host of the Truth Wave, host and co-creator of the Truth Wave Energy Meditation. We meet twice a day, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. We'd love to have you come by and learn how to interact and utilize the energies that are God/universe given that are all around us.
I love that. I love that. So I did come up with a quick, like, what's your favorite fall flavors? As a quick, like, starting off point, as an icebreaker. So do you guys want to use that as an icebreaker?
Sure.
Okay. So I'll kick us off. I'm Vicky. Everybody knows me here. My favorite fall flavor has got to be and you would think I would have thought of it, but if I had to go with something, last night I tried this like Japanese squash and it was absolutely delicious because it was sweet because I like everything sweet. I have a huge sweet tooth. So it was awesome. I roasted it a little olive oil and salt, and it was absolutely delicious. So I'm just gonna go with like all things squash family related. If that makes any sense. I'll turn it over to you, Laura, because I see you smiling at that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I only like spaghetti squash. All the other squash I don't like. But as far as fall flavors go, I'm really loving, I've been making like okay, so we got a new espresso machine. We had something similar, but anyways, I've been making like these decaf almond milk lattes and like sprinkling cinnamon and a little bit of coconut sugar on top and a little bit of like Himalayan salt. And it's just, I don't know what it is, but I'm super addicted to those right now. I don't know if it's the cinnamon or if it's a little bit of nutmeg, but I always get into like that squash, cinnamon, nutmeg, banana bread, uh, give me potatoes and carrots kind of feeling every time this time of year. So yeah, is that a flavor? Squash potatoes, cinnamon, nutmeg, brown sugar.
That's called Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So there's that. And then otherwise I'm a Taurus and I live in Washington State, near Seattle. We'll say that.
I'm also a Taurus. I didn't know we were doing our signs, but yes, I'm a Taurus. Victor,
Well,
what did you say yours
Victor
was? I
started
was
it.
fiddling with technology. What
Oh,
did you say yours was?
I'm a Pisces.
You're a Pisces, so is that what, March?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually I'm a double Pisces. So because some people are triple something. So you're a double, like if you're a Taurus, your sun, moon, rising. So if
Uh-huh.
you're a Taurus, say Taurus, Cancer, Taurus, then you're a double Taurus. So I'm a double Pisces. So I'm a Pisces, Cancer, Pisces, which makes me heavy water. So I'm
Oh my.
like ooey gooey mutable, apparently, if you believe in that sort of thing.
Well, you should talk to our friend Chrissy. If Chrissy would join, she would give you like an entire chart of all the things that you are. So
Awesome.
that is awesome. Angelique.
So I'm Angelique, and I'm a Taurus, and I am
Wow.
a let's see, what do I do? I do all kinds of things in the metaphysical realms. So I
Awesome.
work with energy in various ways. I transmute energy. I add energy. I do all kinds of things. I love acorn squash. I
That's the
love.
one. That's the one I made last night. Yes, sorry, continue.
I let's see. I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what the other parameters were for your description. But
I was just going with fall flavors, but anything you want to share?
oh, fall flavors.
Mm. Mm.
Oh, you know what I really like? I like pumpkin spice. And so when what I consider to be fall is like eggnog season.
Yum.
So I love eggnog. In small doses. It's so rich. I can't take too much of it. But that's it. I have a big sweet tooth. Oh my god. So all the pumpkin flavors and stuff like that. And apple flavors and so
I'm deviating a little bit, but what's your favorite apple? Because I literally drove to a farm and bought apples tonight because they carry my favorite type of apple.
Which
I
is
feel like we should write this down and show it so that we can see if it's all the same one.
my favorite apple. That's a good question. I like Granny Smith. They're a little. I have some now, and they were so tart. They were incredibly tart for Granny Smith apples.
yum.
So, but there's an apple. What is it called? It's kind of pinkish. It's so sweet and crisp. Oh my god, it's so good.
Mm.
Oh, I know
I
that
can't.
name. So is it
Pink lady.
It might
maybe.
be. It could be, but yeah. You know what's funny about apples? They all taste different. My brother
Yes.
had property once that there was a tree that grew, and they called it crab apples, but they tasted like cherries. It was amazing. And I don't know if all crab apples taste like that. Probably not. But it's amazing how many flavors of apples you get. I'm
I
not
like
big on the yellow apples, though.
Honey crisp. Those are the
Honey
Those
crispiest.
crisp.
good.
Honey
Those
crisp are
good.
the best.
Yeah.
My favorite are
Can
Cortland.
you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Pam, do you want to
Okay. Can you
introduce
see me?
yourself? Oh, there's fireworks
Can you
behind you.
behind me or you? I see 'em behind you.
It's a technological mess today, but yes, there
Oh,
are
okay.
fireworks behind me. Pam, I want to turn it over to you. I will really want you to
Okay.
introduce yourself.
Okay. I didn't know if you could hear me or see me
Yes.
still because my screen looks different now than it did when I signed on. So y'all can see me and hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm Pam, and I think I could be mistaken, but I think I was one of your first followers on this tea group. Because I love tea. I love hot tea. I love iced tea. I love bubble tea. I love any kind of tea, really. Um, so I my birthday's in March. I know it's aquamarine. I don't know any of those other horoscope things. Don't really follow them very much.
What day in March?
Victor's going to be like, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. I love all things Disney. I'm actually down in Orlando right now on a business trip for Disney and Universal Studios. So I was at Universal today for training. So I'm a travel agent. Let's see, my favorite fall flavor. It depends what it is. Like I like pumpkin spice, like breads or muffins or something like that, but I hate pumpkin pie. Uh, I know.
Interesting.
But I love apples. I love caramel apples. I actually have a chocolate business too that's kind of dwindling out, but I have made gourmet caramel apples, and I think Honeycrisp is the best apple out there ever, especially with caramel and chocolate.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
So
I don't know what else you want to know, but that's kind of me. I'm a grandma. I have 4 kids. I have 3 grandchildren, 2 more on the way. I don't know what else you want to know. I've missed so many of your tea parties because they always fall on a night when my kids come over. But I'm on a business trip, so I'm here in the hotel by myself right now.
Oh,
well, we're all about community here. So, Pam, if I may I make 2 plugs about you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And see, like, I have the pleasure of knowing everybody so well. So,
yeah,
Pam, don't you also own a farm, which I found so fascinating about
yes,
you? Yes. Do you want to tell us about that?
yes. So, my husband grew up on a farm, and then when we married, he was going to college to be an engineer, and he works for an auto supply company. And he kind of farmed on the side with his dad through most of our married life, but his dad passed away about 8 years ago, and we had to take over the farm. So he works both jobs full time, and I am kind of his sidekick. I'm a farmer's wife, which kind of means I'm the gopher, for whatever it is he needs, whether it's parts or food or moving him from field to field. Um, I don't know. We sold our house and built a house on the farm, and I live next to my mother-in-law, and I do the books, I do all the bookkeeping and selling grain. I'm learning some of that. My mother-in-law is 92, and
wow.
she still does a lot of the keeping up with the price of grain and stuff. I need to take that over from her, but she doesn't, it's very hard for her to give everything up, and she's had to pretty much give everything else up. So I let her kind of guide me still in that way a little bit. But my husband knows how to do it. So if she were to pass away, he would just show me how to do it. So I don't know. We have a family farm. We farm 500 acres, and he does all the work. I just tag along. He
Nice.
finished harvesting today. So if any of you follow me on my regular page, you'll see that I posted a picture of him on the combine today because he finished. So
Awesome. Well, thank him for us for feeding us.
yeah. You said there was 2 things you were going to say about me. What was the other
Yes.
thing, Victoria? You got my curiosity now.
Yes. So the other thing is, I love the way the universe works on the synchronicity and everything, because I was talking to Angelique last night, and Angelique's like, I want to fly everybody out here, and I just want to get together with everyone in person. And
Me too.
I know. So what I wanted to say is, so Pam, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, just like pings me, and she's like, Vicky, I discovered this T-bus thing in New York City. It looks so fun.
Yeah.
So it's basically like having a tea party on a bus, and it's going uber viral in social media, and they have it in Boston and DC and Philadelphia from what I've seen, right? And New York City. New York City has been huge, right? And
Yeah.
so Pam is like, Vicky, have you heard of this? I'm like, I've heard of it. I haven't done it, even though I'm in the city like every week. So she's like, we ought to do this together. And I was like, this is amazing. And Pam, being a travel agent extraordinaire, she like literally full on went on, created like a whole flyer, outlined like, if we were to get together, what would we do? What could this all look like? What are the like hotels and all the amazing things that we're going to be doing? So all of this is to say it's the following. Pam and I are brewing something very special
Oh
for
my
you.
I
God,
like
that's
that.
awesome.
We're trying to do that in there.
From
Yeah.
home. And we're
Yeah.
gonna have the best time, and we're so excited. I believe we're brewing this for May, the May timeframe, when we're gonna have cherry blossoms out here in New Jersey. If we don't want to do it in Jersey and there's like a more midway point to do it, and if that means more people would come, like, okay, I'll compromise, no problem. But I'm so excited because I love the way that this community is blossoming and growing, and the way that we all kind of want similar things, like from a connection and a community perspective. So I wanted to share that about you, Pam.
Yeah.
I think you're
Yeah.
amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're gonna
We need to get some pricing out there soon so we can throw it out there so people kind of know. And we've kind of built up like, if we do this, it'd be this much. We do this, be this much. But it's just narrowing it down and trying to figure out what we're going to do and what the purpose is of it. But I think we picked a weekend. Didn't we pick a weekend?
I believe we did in May. So
Yeah.
yes.
that sounds exciting. I think you're gonna have all of us sitting on the edge of our seat. That's terrible. All right. Okay, the name of the apple we couldn't focus on earlier is Fuji.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fuji apples.
Okay.
And those along with Granny Smith are my favorite. Actually, those two are my favorite. So
Laura, did you share what your favorite apple is?
Yes, apple crisp. Apple crisp.
Apple crisp.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
They're
really
the
good.
best.
Yeah.
and I was going to say, Vicky, one of the things I think would be really cool, and this is just something I was thinking of because we're all building communities and stuff. So maybe eventually we could throw this by our travel agent planner here. But I think it would be really cool to create like a big event and invite like all of us to do certain parts. Like, Victor can lead a meditation and, Angelique can lead X, and you could talk about wellness and tea. And because there's so many people coming into the community, I'm just like so humbled. And I'm just like, I was telling Victor this earlier. I was like, I'm just so surprised that like you guys don't know each other. Like you'll know when you meet Savannah and Joan and just some other people that you're just like, yeah, we totally know each other. Let's do this. So there's something there that's kind of working out. But I just thought that would be a really great idea because we could pull multiple audiences into one event. So that's kind of the thing I'm playing with, but I'm also creating the space to even build that, but I would love to figure out how to do something like that.
Sedona.
Laura, that is literally what Pam and I talked about. That is literally what we talked about. We talked about doing a meditation, like somebody would lead a meditation. I would do something about teas. Somebody else would do, and we would like literally lean into what each of us knows because we're all so talented and multifaceted. And to be able to bring all of that together would be absolutely phenomenal. And we were turning it into a 2-day event. Because of that, it would be like a Saturday and a Sunday, and we could each do something different. So yes, we're literally thinking about the same thing. Oh my God, I love this. This is getting exciting. I'm so glad you joined, Pam, because up until you joining, we hadn't talked about it. So
Yeah.
and I want to take a quick pause because we have Monique here, who's a special guest this evening. I'm so excited to have you. Monique, I was telling everybody it's like one of those evenings where it's like all of us were like, oh my God, I had a really hectic day. I had to go for a walk before coming here just to like reset my energy. And then I had like technology gremlins in here. So we're literally just going through intros. Like for the first 30 minutes, we've been doing intros. So you joined at the perfect moment. Please introduce yourself. And Monique is here to share some of her wisdom with us. I'm so excited to have you. And we can do like your segment so that you can share and then you can drop if you want or stay. You're welcome to stay and then we can continue. So I'll stop. I'll do it this way so that we can all see each other better. All right, I'm turning it over to you, Monique.
Hey, hi, thanks for having me. I am excited to be here, and hopefully I can share something that is helpful for everyone here as well as the community that's going to be watching this wherever it's broadcasting right now. So my name's Monique Derwin. I am a mind-body coach, and I teach people how to self-heal using a natural holistic approach.
Love that. I love that. And the way that Monique and I met is I was looking for ways to really enhance the content that we're learning about here. So I reached out and Monique was like, hey, I would love to come and share about some of the things that I do. And, I think that you have some really interesting perspectives about the mind-body connection, but then also you have such deep expertise around essential oils and just the way that our bodies interacts with essential oils. So maybe, we could just move into that portion of you just sharing with us about, your background, what you do, how you work with people, what they experience as part of working with you. We would love to hear all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a really long story, but I'll kind of condense it for the show. And I grew up in a family where there was a lot of chronic pain, a lot of chronic ailments, disease, kind of one diagnosis after the other, lots of things through family history. And I grew up thinking that the medical field was the only way to go. I didn't know any different. And so by the time I was in my 30s, I had had dozens of surgeries, was on 9 daily medications, and wasn't getting better, wasn't really feeling better. I was maintaining, I was surviving, but I would look at people and I would just think they've got it figured out. Like they are healthy, their bodies are moving, what are they doing differently? And there was this one night, my kids were in middle school, and I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm kind of getting out my cocktail of medicine. And also I have a glass of wine. It was kind of the thing I did. And I'm looking at my kids and I'm thinking, I don't really care if they eat food tonight or take a bath or go to school. Like I was just so numb and I was exhausted and obviously severely depressed at that point in time. And it hit me like a train. Like if you don't figure this out, they're going to go through the same thing, because I was seeing my mother in me, right? I was seeing the way she did life, and of no fault of her own, just not knowing any better, I just did not want to pass that down to my children anymore. And it slapped me hard. And that night, I put all my medicine into a bag. And I don't recommend that anyone ever do this. I'm not giving medical advice. This is my personal story. Put my medicine in a Ziploc bag, and I pulled out a bottle of lavender oil. And I thought, let me just see. Instead of taking the sleep meds tonight, can this actually work? And I went and made a lavender tea, and I poured my wine down the drain and I made a lavender tea, and I rubbed lavender all over my toes and all over my pillow. And I mean, I'm sure the whole house smelled like lavender. It was obnoxious. And the intention, I think the mindset intention with the fear, with the, you know, this oil blend helping me, it was just kind of this beautiful night. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, okay, I didn't die. I didn't sleep fantastic, but I got enough sleep. I was feeling okay. And so then I was like, okay, what else is in here, right? And I had bought this little trio. It was lavender, lemon, and peppermint. It was a trio that I had bought. And it was like, okay, you can use peppermint for energy and peppermint for cooling off, and you can use lemon for detoxing your kidneys. And, so I started playing in those things, and I put lemon, oil in my water that morning, and I drank lemon, and I was like, oh, this is really refreshing, right? And I would smell the peppermint and my eyes would get really big. And I'm like, okay, now that I got a little bit of energy, it cooled me off. And what was happening was I was, moving away from the traditional medicine and starting to implement holistic therapies. So I started, doing more massage therapy. I started seeing, going to more yoga classes, just kind of all the things that you think when you start looking into holistic therapy. Got the, food out of the house that we didn't need. They were ticked off. I threw away all the little Debbie snacks. It was just kind of just started cleansing things. I know they were so mad at me and they still talk about it, but I started feeling better and I started having hope for the first time. And when I was in a space of just a little bit of hope, I could see other things. I could see other possibilities that I didn't even know were there. And I was exposed to books and teachers and courses and certifications. And I just kind of went down a rabbit hole for a while. But after a few years, I realized I was pain-free and I was off all the medications. I had reversed the need for surgeries. My dentist was confused because my teeth were stronger. Just so many different things that were physically aware in my space that I hadn't seen before. And the more I learned about emotional connection to essential oils, the more excited I was, because I realized that peppermint actually brings joy to the physical body. And so, of course, if I was in a depression and I was hitting my olfactory senses and my nervous system with joy, I have to move up, right? I have to feel better.
Wow.
Powerful.
What a wonderful. I'm gobsmacked. That is awesome, Monique. That is absolutely, it's touching. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, Monique, this is a really powerful, powerful story. And I'm curious, like, I know that you work with a lot of coaching clients, and what do you find to be, the biggest challenges that they face? And then where do you help them get to from where they are?
That's a great question. The biggest challenge that I think all humans struggle with is the conditioning, specifically before the age of 9. Up until a certain age, we're literally in a brainwave of hypnosis, which means anything that we hear, see, or around, our body takes on as truth, whether it's our choice or not. And, under the age of 9, there's a lot of brainwave activity that goes on where we just repeat, we just absorb, and we just replicate what we saw. And I think the hardest part of that is really understanding that the people before us didn't actually know any better. I 100% believe if people know better, they do better. Not just knowing here, but knowing internally and from their internal source. And I think we do the best we can with what we have in front of us. And when we're not exposed to other things or we don't know any different because the environment didn't teach us, it's not a fault, it's just an awareness. But then when we're adults and we do have the potential to know better, and maybe we're exposed to something that's better, then we have the choice. But oftentimes that state of survival and that conditioning of doing it that way is so normal, even if it's painful. It's easier to do the normal than to do the scary because we don't know what to expect when we change. We don't know what we leave behind and how we expand and what we move through. So we stay stuck in those predictable patterns because it's safe, even though it's not fulfilling, and we all know what it takes to do things, but are we willing to exchange what we want to do to get the thing? Like we don't just go out and run a marathon. Like you train, you buy specific shoes, you repair, you get your body prepared, you learn how much water to drink and what to eat and all of these things. And so if you knew what it took to run a marathon and get to the end, you could decide if you wanted to do it. But we don't know that when it comes to, changing generational patterns or healing our body. We have no idea what that looks like. And for some people, it's one session and they have an awareness and it's an immediate thing. And then other people have big T trauma and really strong belief systems, and it's just hard to break those cycles. And they may take a lot longer.
Wow. Does anybody have any questions for Monique?
I just went really deep, really fast.
No, I mean, that's what this community is. Like
Yeah.
we go very deep. Um, you know what I really appreciate about you?
What?
Just the sheer level of vulnerability that you're willing to go to. And I'll tell you something, and Laura has known me the longest in this group. And when we met, one of the things I really had a struggle with is just, authenticity and just being my whole self. And Victor runs this meditation, and it just so happened where he goes, Vicky, I want to put you on the truth node. And I was like, whoa. that's the thing I've always struggled with. Because I think telling your story authentically and honestly is really, really hard. And I think that you're doing such a tremendous service just by having the courage to be this honest, because through your honesty, you're helping shine a light and you're making it permissible, to be depressed. You're making it permissible to not be okay, right? Because there's so much shame in society around that. And I love the fact that you're saying, listen, that's okay. And there is a different way. So I just want to, I just want to thank you, for having the courage to do that. Now, do you work mostly with men or women? Like, who do you tend to work with the most?
It's really interesting that it always happens this way. It's usually a mom or a wife that reaches out because that is my story. I want to be really honest because I want to normalize and neutralize pain, trauma, grief, emotions. Like it's a real thing. And we've been taught to brush it under the rug because it's not acceptable to, cry in public or be upset about certain things. And I think that's kind of a crock in my world. So, through me expressing and being honest, and I have a lot of very honest, vulnerable conversations out in the world, I meet someone and they say, oh, that sounds like me, and it's usually a wife or a mom. And we talk, we set up a couple appointments. I usually work with somebody if I'm doing private for like 6 to 12 weeks start minimum. And after a few weeks, they're like, I did this with my kids and they listened. Or, my headaches are gone. So now my husband and I are enjoying time together. Or I can get up and down off the floor with my kids. I can go play, or I can travel, or I can go have brunch with my girlfriends and not have to pick the restaurant because my gut can't handle what they want to eat, right? So these women are getting back out in the world and they're enjoying life. And then their friends see it and their families see it. And now there's this ripple effect that I'm not working with one person, I'm working with an entire unit or a family. And the collective energy around them changes. And as that happens, the husband says, hey, wait a minute, I want to call with Monique. Like, let's see if we can repair, this thing in our marriage that happened 10 years ago that we're still kind of having problems with, or, the mother-in-law that that shows up every once in a while that, creates some issues in the family, or the troubled kid or the sick kid, every family has certain things going on. None of us are perfect. And so being able to support them and then they support their families and then they show up at work and they show up different. And I usually end up working with an entire family. I've got single dads and all their kids. I've got grandparents to grandkids, all the people in between. I have a membership where I work with, a lot of people at one time. We do group calls. I have retreats here on my property. I have a retreat center and I do couples events and women's events here. But I work with any human who is suffering with pain, mental, physical, emotional, financial, in their relationship. We all have a pain point somewhere, and the way we address it is the same in my world. We get to the root cause of where the pain came from and we navigate a different trajectory. And I help them hold space while they practice becoming that version that they want to be, not what I tell them, but what they choose. They have accountability, they have support, and for the first time ever, they get to be who they are. They practice being who they are on this earth. And I think the easiest and the hardest thing a human will ever do is be themselves.
You're right. It is the easiest and the hardest thing to do.
Can I interject something here real quick, Victoria? One thing, Monique, I really like, because I mentioned this on my stream too, is one candle can light 1,000. And I love that aspect of your work. How you said, it lit me up when you said, oh yeah, first it'll be the mom and then the kids and then the dad saying, hey, what about me? And then the next thing you know, it's the extended family. I love that. I absolutely adore that. I love that aspect of it. And something else too. Oh, I was going to ask you, since we're talking about this, you said that so whenever you pull up a trauma that somebody's experiencing, one thing, and Laura and I spoke about this earlier, I do this thing and I talk about it on my show is, if we all have them. I don't think there's so much thing as a perfect upbringing. I think we all have something that we're carrying. And so what we spoke about on my show about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'm not a psychiatrist and this is not my field, but I said, if you have that trauma, look at it, and then you ask yourself, why do I feel that way? And then leave it alone. It's kind of like meditating. If you're trying really hard, it's tough to get in that space, but if you just let it go, just relax and let go, typically you'll attain that vibe you're trying, that space you're trying to reach. So really kind of what I'm asking here is, I ask them to just put why in front of it. Why do I feel that way? And then leave it alone, because just by putting why in front of it, it changes the state of the trauma. Because instead of I feel this way, it's why do I feel that way? You see, so what I'm doing is kind of a mental trick of just saying, and I think your way is probably far more in depth than everything. And I just go, why do I feel that way?
Yeah.
Why do I feel that? And it's kind of a quick fix. It's kind of I don't know. So can you give me your thoughts on that? On am I barking up the wrong tree? I don't want to be giving people poor advice. It's just what came to me. So I went with it.
Oh, I think that curiosity is always going to help, right? A sense of wonder. Hey, what's really going on? Like, why did I really react that way? One of my favorite things to ask, and my mentor taught me this years ago, is what am I making it mean about me? If there is a reaction that comes out, if I'm frustrated, if somebody does something, if I go defensive, if it gets personal, right? It's a trauma wound that's being triggered. But what am I making it mean about me? That they don't love me, that they don't respect me, that they don't care, right? It's some kind of personal thing for us. And the Four Agreements, I don't know if y'all have read that, is an excellent book. It's been around for years and years. I'm doing a book study on it right now with my community. And, the agreements are be impeccable with your word. Don't use your word against yourself. And, always do your best. And your best today is different than your best yesterday. And don't take things personally. Like, what people do is not because of us. Like, I realized I'm not that special, that people just go out to hurt me. It's like I had to really process that. And then always do your best, be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions. Go right to the source and just ask the question. It clears up so much. It's sweaty conversations. It's hard, but it really catapults you into a different space. So I think anytime we're digging into trauma or we're dealing with trauma, we need to know, that hurt because, just like you said, why does that bother me? I like to use because. Like, it's a problem for me because, it's really painful because, and your brain will just download these stories, right? It'll just tell you all kind of stuff.
And where I'm going to tack something else on. So what I'm talking about, excuse me, I think we're saying the same thing, but as kind of the quick fix and me not really having an answer, I just, whatever came to me, I look at it as changing the state of the energy of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we look at our trauma and, I had this experience and this experience bothers me. And you understand, I think you understand what I'm talking about. And just by throwing why, that changes the entire energy of that statement, the previous statement. So are we saying the same thing?
I agree. Yes.
Okay.
So trauma is not an event. Trauma is a separation from safety. So there was a fire, right? And then I wasn't safe to process there was a fire. We lost all of our things, right? Just speaking like that. Now, every time I think of the fire, my body feels a response, and we call that a trauma response. But for what you're saying, it's like, wait, why does the fire bother me? Why does the house fire bother me? And then that's where you can kind of download. Okay, it bothers me because I lost my favorite toy. My cat died. We made memories in the house. Like, it was the last place I saw my grandma, right? And those thoughts are actually the problem, because the event is just an event. The house burned down. But when we attach meaning to it, it's right or wrong, it's good or bad. You see? So yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love this. I mean, I could do this for 3 hours straight, but Monique and I agreed that we would do like 20 to 30 minutes. Monique, how and where can people find you?
Yeah. Any social media platform, Monique the Mind Body Coach, is the easiest way to find me. You can probably Google that. I should have enough, space on the internet now to pull me up. But Facebook, I'm really active on. I do free challenges. I do workshops and master classes. Um, they're free for the community. So anybody that just kind of wants to learn more about what I do or test the waters, that's the best way to come in. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Monique the Mind Body Coach.
Aren't
Yeah.
you also working on a book?
I am working on a book, and it's actually called Transforming Trauma. It is the mind body approach to healing. It's my personal story, my family history, and then a lot of my clients' successes, and kind of the three steps that you got to do to get through healing trauma and emotional pain and physical pain and injuries, all the things that I experienced.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to include that. So we're streaming this also on YouTube.
Okay.
So when I go and I edit the video, I will include all the ways that you can get in touch with Monique. Such a powerful story. I wouldn't be surprised if I tap you on your shoulder to come back again.
I'd love to do it. Yeah.
Because I know that in this community we can go super deep on this stuff. So, and I know Chrissy I'm doing a shout out to somebody who's listening on the YouTube stream because she's texting me on the side. She's like, oh my God, the one time I can't get in on Zoom. This is amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So appreciate your time. And I will make sure to include all the links. And in the email that I sent out last night or this morning, I also have the link to your website. So if anybody wants to get in touch with Monique, you also have that in the email that I had sent out earlier this morning. So thank you again for your time. Really appreciate
Thank you. It was really good. Really
Oh,
good.
thank you for having me. Yeah. And in the website, you can connect with me on social media or send me a message or book even a 15-minute chat, so that's a great place to connect as well. Thank you for that. And I appreciate being here and thank you for doing what you do. We all need some help and support in the world, and I think this is a great way to share messages in a really nice way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're so sweet and so kind. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you for
And
coming. That was awesome.
I look forward to
Okay.
watching the whole replay when it's done.
For sure. Thank you, Monique. Have a
Bye,
lovely.
everybody.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Wow, that was powerful, huh?
Indeed.
A little different from our usual tea party stuff, but
Yeah.
I want to bring depth.
Still useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to bring depth
I've
to
dabbled a little bit in the essential oils, but I don't really know enough about it to know, what's for what and all that, but it's a real thing and a lot of people use it for a lot of different things and it works, even for simple things like headaches, or whatever. So
I'm reading this book and you can only see how many pieces of paper I have in
I gotta
there.
get my glasses for that. What's the
No,
book?
don't
What
do
is
that.
it?
But it's called Ancient Remedies.
Oh, I saw you post that the other
Yeah,
day.
and I know
Yeah.
that they're like, and I love, and by the way, Angelique is our second guest speaker tonight, and like, if anybody knows this stuff, it's Angelique. So, but what I wanted to say is that I really loved what Monique said because she talked about addressing things at the root cause of it, right? So it's not about putting a Band-Aid on something, but it's really going deep and really like, addressing what is underneath all of that. And it's really a holistic way of addressing, like my mom has been struggling with blood pressure and immediately her doctor prescribed medication to her. And I've been so worried sick about it because I'm like, Mom, the reason your blood pressure is going up is because you're so stressed out. So let's not just do the medicine, let's address the stress. Let's look at how do we help relax you and relieve some of that anxiety and stress in your body that you're carrying in you, right? And whether that's tea, essential oils, grounding, walking, meditation, it could be 1,000 different modalities that can help you with that. But like, that's the thing that I'm trying to battle internally, like even within my own little family, is let's look at things at the root cause of it and not just put medication on top of it, right? So that's why I really loved what Monique said. Like when she was like, let's look at it at the root of it instead of just, you know, the superficiality, the superficial piece of it. All right. All right. Are you guys ready to learn a little bit about October flavors? All right, I'm gonna go fast because I wanna give Angelique a chance to also share because she's also gonna blow you away. See, I'm putting Angelique towards the end because I want everybody to stick around because she's like definitely worth sticking around for. So, but I'll go fast, my dear friend.
Vicky. Oh my God. That's not the case. If somebody has to go, please go do what you need to do.
Oh, Angelique, don't give people that option. You're so sweet. Hold on. Let's see. How do you do this? It is called full screen. Nope, it's not called full screen. It's called slide mode. So it won't let me try. Oh my God. And Ashley also can't join. Hang on for 1 second. Let me try to share this link with her super quick and then she can at least listen. Oh my God. Ashley wrote, I was looking forward to this all day and it won't let me it won't let me in. I even updated the app. Is it being recorded? Hold on. This is unacceptable. What is going on here? Does anybody know? Do you guys know Ashley? No. I'm so frustrated.
No.
Zoom thing.
I couldn't get in on the Zoom either, but it gave me the option to like click on something else. I forget. There was another like line underneath the Zoom link that, you know, let me click on there, like join a different way. I don't remember what it said.
Okay, so let me just super quickly tell her that I'm streaming it live and then she can at least join on YouTube and then I'll go back to this super quick. I'm so frustrated. I can't even begin to tell you. This is the last time I'm getting fancy with technology. I'm telling you this right now. I'm gonna go the old-fashioned way. Hold on, I'm streaming. I'm so sorry about this. I'm streaming. Hold on YouTube as well. Join us here. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's try it this way for now. Okay. All right. I'm going to get into fall flavors. So I prepared 6 different things, but I'm not going to go through all of it just because I know that we have a ton to get through, but I'll just focus on these 3. So what you see here is pumpkin. This was nutmeg, I want to say, and then and cranberries. So what I found to be really fascinating, and I always knew that pumpkins and anything that is like orange or deep red or purple, and the deeper the color, the healthier it is for you. Like that was kind of something that I always knew just very superficially, like when I would research what should I eat. So you know how they always say eat lots of blueberries or dark berries because they're full of antioxidants and those are cancer fighting, right? And then I was kind of starting to become fascinated with like, okay, so what about pumpkin and squashes and all of the fall flavors? And what I really loved discovering is that pumpkin, squash, all of these like orange rooted flavors that we enjoy during the fall, they're actually quite perfect in terms of the health benefits that they provide because they're very high in vitamin A's, C, and E. E is really good for skin. I know that. And then A and C, A is really good for eyesight and C is really good for immunity. So I found that to be fascinating because I was thinking about like how nature just kind of prepares you for the next season. And this is like the perfect time, right? Because we're going through transition from summer to winter. And this is when a lot of people catch their colds as the temperatures are changing. So I love the way that nature created and put these, these seasonal items making it available to us, because as we go through that transition, this is when we start to boost our immunity and when we start to eat fall flavors. So anything that is orange will have lots and lots of beta carotene. So not just carrots, but also pumpkins and all the squashes that we talked about. And beta carotene is really good for your eye health as well as vitamin A. What I also loved learning about the squashes and the pumpkins is that they're quite low in calories. So you can eat them and really enjoy them, unlike from like maybe a super starchy potato. Eating pumpkins or anything that is of that same family is not that high in calorie and dense in nutrients. So I thought that that was really great. Full of fiber. I've been really enjoying eating the squashes that I've been making, and I can absolutely attest to the high fiber content. And I eat, but I don't feel full and like completely bloated when like I ate an entire acorn squash by myself last night. And I'm not advocating that you do that. I'm just saying that's what I did. And I was still totally fine. Like I didn't feel that super heavy feeling that you would get after eating like potatoes or something like that, right? So, and it's because it's high in fiber, it's really good for your digestion and great for skin. So, I thought that it was really, it surprised me. I didn't know all of this. And I absolutely loved learning just how incredibly healthy, these squashes and pumpkins are, as we head into the winter. Any thoughts, reactions to this? Did everybody already know this?
I had no idea. I had no idea. But I find it interesting that you correlated that nature provides these fall fruits and vegetables at the time when we're going to need them the most. I'm of course I'm about like tomorrow I'm going to buy all my pie pumpkins, and I stab holes in them, then I bake them until the little stem comes out, and then I just take all that meat, freeze half of it for Thanksgiving, and freeze the other half for Christmas, and it makes the best pies. And then I take all the seeds, of course, and dry them out, and then season them and have yummy snacks in that regard. But I think that's really interesting. Now, did you correlate that, or did you just stumble upon it in a book?
No, I correlated it
That's
because I was
awesome.
thinking about the seasons, right?
Oh.
But I have to be honest, right? So I've been feeling super inspired by this book that I'm reading, right? Ancient Medicine. And he just talks about how like everything that we need is right here, right now. Like we have everything that we need. And in fact, I don't know okay. So I was on a super long airplane ride and I made a video about this. And Laura is coach extraordinaire, and she always probes me with questions that get me to not just think because I'm a great thinker, but to really feel into, right? To feel into and to trust that feeling, right? And so I was on the airplane ride, and lo and behold, I have these questions in front of me that she's like, Vicky, just feel into this, right? And so the questions that she had me reflect on was, what would you do if you can't fail? I love that. What is my vision? What do I want to be known for? What does my ultimate lifestyle look like? Right. So she always like probes into me, right? And so I was on the airplane ride and I was reading the book, and this is what came through me. And I said, my vision is that I brought people together, created happy moments and experiences together. We experienced connection, fun, laughter, support, like we weren't alone in this world and we mattered. I helped people heal without hurting through nature. Everything we need is already here. I help people tap into what's already here. And so that has really been sitting with me. And as I was pulling this content together, I was like, everything we need is already here. Everything we need is already here, right? And so that kept replaying in my mind as I was like pulling this together. I was like, oh, that's pretty brilliant. It starts to boost up our immunity as we head into the like super cold season, right? And it gives us everything that we need. And, I don't need to go through these one by one, but I think if you take a look at whether it's nutmeg or whether it's cranberries, again, what you're going to find is rich in antioxidants. It supports your immunity. It supports your heart health, digestion, anti-inflammatory, all the things that we need to maintain our health, but also to kind of boost that immunity when we need it most. And I love the seasonality and I love celebrating the seasons. So I just thought that that was really interesting. And it was really fun researching cranberries, actually. I had no idea that it promotes oral health because it prevents harmful bacteria from causes plaque and gum disease. It was like, really, cranberries? I had like no idea. I mean, you always hear like, drink your cranberry juice because it's really good for your urinary tract, right? Like you hear that and you're like, okay, yeah, okay, I know that. Or it's like, it's dark red. So you know that it's going to be full of antioxidants, you know that it's going to be like immune boosting. But I was like, really? It actually helps you with your teeth? I'm like, okay, I'll take it. Because I don't want to go to the dentist. Oh my God. The dentist and I are good friends. Oh my God, do I not want to go often? So anyways, yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that with you. And nutmeg, I think, is really interesting too, because it's kind of like one of those things that you think of as just like a spice, right? Like cinnamon, nutmeg, right? But as I was researching cinnamon, for example, it's an anti-inflammatory. Like, what? Really? Like, how amazing is that? Right? And you look at, again, what nature provides you, and it provides exactly what you need. And so this helps reduce pain, which I thought was really interesting. Good for sleep, improves digestion, supports brain health. I don't know. I just find like the deeper I go, the more fascinated and the more in love I become with everything that nature is providing for us to help us feel healthy. It's like, it's almost like you're rediscovering the perfection in everything that is here already. So, okay, this we will talk about next time. And then the three flavors that I thought I would highlight for you is pumpkin spice, autumn delight, because I hope, let me see if Ashley joined, because that was for Ashley, because Ashley has been like, I love cinnamon, Vicky. I love cinnamon. I love anything that is cinnamon and apple. What do you have that cinnamon and apple? So I was thinking of Ashley when I was pulling this one together. The autumn cranberry burst, I think I had Laura, you try that. Was that the one that I sent you? Yes.
Yes, that smells like it's amazing. It smells like candy, but like in a good way. It smells like Starbursts or Skittles. I think we decided that Starburst, me and Robert decided that Starburst was more accurate. So it's really it like wakes you up. It's like, ooh, this is really nice. So
it's very, very like it's very to me it feels very sweet and floral in a way. That's how I felt like when I smelled it. I feel like when I smell the pumpkin spice and the masala chai, they're more kind of like spicy, earthy, like the pumpkin spice is, you definitely feel fall, and the masala chai, that's like very like spice and earthy flavored. But for example, like the masala chai is actually, you can think of it as an anti-inflammatory because it has ginger, it has cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, black and white pepper. So it is such an incredibly healthy tea, and people don't even realize how amazingly good it is for you. Because everybody's like, oh, I like my spice chai latte or whatever. But if you use the right ingredients in it, it's almost like an anti-inflammatory tea. So I'm going to pause here. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And then I want to turn it over to Angelique to continue to educate us.
I will be right back.
Okay. Okay.
And I may have to leave soon because my husband will be calling soon. But I'll
Okay.
listen as much as I can.
Okay. Okay. So Angelique, I turn it over to you.
Just 1 second here.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you pull up your first slide and put that on the screen quickly?
Yeah. Wait.
Excellent. And can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason I'm having Vicky pull this back up is because this is ethnobotany at its, this is absolute ethnobotany from a medical Western perspective. Ethnobotany is the study of plants and how we interact with it as human beings. And on a spiritual level, on a physical level, and on a metaphysical level even. So I wanted to talk about 3 types of ethnobotany. So first, let's see. Yeah, so this right here, this is an example of medical ethnobotany. So it shows you why the plants have, what chemicals in the plant are useful for us and what we get out of it, what our bodies get out of it. So that would be all the vitamins, nutrients, and minerals that each plant contains. The other thing about this slide that I'm looking at, what things promote, that would fall under the metaphysical aspects of ethnobotany. So that's the second part of ethnobotany I want to talk to you about today. So metaphysically, those are the characteristics and qualities that each plant has, and what it brings in to the environment that it's currently in. So that varies all over the world, all over cultures, all over societies, because there's different plants, and they use different plants for medicinal purposes in various traditions. The next part I want to speak about is from an Ayurvedic perspective. That is also displayed in this slide because it balances. That's what Ayurveda is. It's all about rebalancing the mind, the body, and the spirit. And they use plant medicines because every plant is a medicine because it's adding something to your body. So what you add to it puts it back into balance, or it can take it out of balance. So are there any questions so far? I'll stop. I'll stop briefly.
It's great. It's great.
Okay. So the other part of ethnobotany is the cultural significance of it, because each culture has its own traditions and why it does things the way it does, utilizing the tools that they have at hand. So an example of this would be you can look at a Japanese tea ritual, which is it's so beautiful to watch, and it's very in depth on every perspective. everything has a reason, and it's very beautiful to see. And you can look at what's another one would be like in Britain, you know, how they started having afternoon tea. It was really culturally shifting to just take time and respect. We need to sit down and we'll be mindful for a minute, because that's the whole thing that tea brings in to people is bringing them back into themselves and being mindful. And it slows you down. Unlike coffee, where coffee speeds you up and gets you going, tea has a tendency to slow us down and allow us to be mindful and take in the nutrients. There's a way of living where everything that you ingest in your body is a ritual. You meaning that you just respect what you're taking in and allow your body to process that. So tea really allows us to do that in so many ways, because there's a lot of processes to making a cup of tea. Let's see. I want to stay on track and not get lost. So I wrote some points down to stay on. So I don't know if I got into this with from the metaphysical perspective, but each element that you put into tea has a quality to it. So Vicky told me of the teas that are, you know, she's coming out with this fall. And I have a book here, and this is one of so many. I'll show it. Let's see. Can that show up?
It's a little blurry. Encyclopedia
Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs.
Okay.
Yes. Because what this does is it tells, you can look up, it doesn't have every herb, obviously. No one book does. But you can look up the different things, and you can see the metaphysical properties, and you can make your tea accordingly, and you can balance your energy field that way. So as an example, and just learn some strange, cool facts about things. So as an example, for apples used to be called the fruit of the gods. So it was a very important thing in a lot of rituals. In many pagan rituals, you'll find that they put apples on their altar. Apples mean that it's a time of harvest. It's prosperity. It's a lot of things like that. That's just for apples. The next one that you had was cinnamon, I believe. And cinnamon oil as an essential oil is a really potent oil. It has a lot of really healthy qualities. When you look from the ethnobotany perspective, each thing brings an element in. So cinnamon is the element of fire. It is a masculine, and it brings the masculinity in. So you can balance things according to that. On the Avardic side. But cinnamon, when you burn it as an incense, it raises your spiritual vibration. So it's very powerful that way. The other one you had were interested in was nutmeg. Nutmeg is really interesting. It's also a fire, the element that it's associated with. And there's also planets that these plants are associated with as well. Nutmeg is associated with Jupiter. It's got a masculine gender to it. And it's used as a good luck charm. It's used as, let's see, it's used to ward off rheumatism, sores and styes of any kind. So it's exorcismic. That would be another way you could say that. Let's see. And actually here it actually talks about boiling water, dropping some in and taking a sip of the water. but not in, they're using it from another perspective. Tea is an amazing way to utilize ethnobotany because it uses all of the elements. It does. You're using fire, earth, water, and air. And it really makes, like if you looked at the Japanese tea ritual, it's that way for a reason, because they do take all of these aspects into account and in their mindfulness, and it adds another element to your cup of tea, and you can have a magical cup of tea if you want. Vicky actually caught me when I was playing with that, and she called, and you called me, I think, what was it, 2 hours after that, and I was like, woo. And you said, what were you doing? You had a vertical day. Yes, I did. But I used the power of the tea and the clarity of the green tea that I was putting into it. That was the element that I wanted to draw down metaphysically from it. But that's it. That's my spiel. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I'll keep it very short and brief, like I said I would.
So I have a question. Oh, Laura, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, my question is, how much is the ritual involved? That we have the herbs themselves, and I know that there's this just the energy of I want to say placebo almost, of like going through the motion of creating the tea bag and just probably the evening ritual with tea or whatever, and then the morning ritual with coffee. Like how I'm just curious how much that impacts the herbs working for the body and the ways that they can, if you know.
That's a really good question. I come from a very old school of thought and training where if you ingest it in your body, you hold it in your hand and you breathe life into it. You cleanse it energetically. And then you, because we make food with our hands, it just becomes an innate part of you after a while. The placebo effect on that, you're stopping and you're being very mindful of what you're doing. So you're not rushing, you're not stuffing yourself with things. So it would have, I think the ritual, and that's any ritual with tea. You can look at a magical ritual or a Japanese ritual. It's just the slowing down and the being mindful of what you're putting into your body. And at that point, you're raising that's with any ritual though. Any ritual, the whole point of doing all these weird things, spinning in a circle, lighting this candle, it gets you in a frequency. It gets your mind elevated to the frequency that it needs to be. At some point, if you've done something enough times, it's a part of you. It's innately in you. So you don't have to go through the stringent, because some things can get really stringent and have many steps to it. And it's not necessary after it becomes a part of you. I hope that did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. And it seems like it's kind of like you instill that frequency eventually, right? Is that what you're saying? Like you just go, you essentially train your being to kind of move to that space after practicing. So I love that because I was just wondering because it's way different for me if I drink tea and I'm in a hurry. Like I never drink tea when I'm in a hurry, right? Like I'm always going through the motion of sitting, boiling the water, and just making it an event, right? So I find it just so relaxing. Yeah.
And every step that you just mentioned is a part of that process to get you in the frequency that you need. If you rush it and you're out of your own steps, you're out of your own frequency. That's why the experience, it's the same cup of tea, but it's a totally different experience. You're not gonna enjoy it to the extent you would if you took that time, went through your process, went through your steps, because that got you at the mental consciousness that you were looking for. Rushing it's not going to get you at that consciousness.
I have have a
Yeah.
question for everybody here. Why do you all drink tea?
For me, I think it's the ritual, it's the slowing down, it's really also the weather. You know, I tend to drink more tea when the weather changes, so it's just a way for me to keep warm. But I really do feel like it puts me in a space of mindfulness. And when I also feel like I'm giving my body medicine, preventative care, just the things that it needs. You know, I kind of eat the same way. Like I'm always asking my body, like, what do you want? You know, when I shop at the grocery store and stuff. And even when I cook, it's almost just like a ritual of self-care for me. And for me, tea is that too. It's one thing that I get to do. Um, that doesn't make you feel full or anything. You just get to sip, just slow down, smell the roses. That's why I drink tea. And to hang out with you guys.
How about I don't know, Pam or Victor? I'm curious.
Well, I don't know, I've always drank it even as a kid. My mom, if we were sick, she'd give us a cup of tea with honey in it. And it's just years ago I worked in a school where I was around sick kids every single day, and just started drinking tea with honey every day. And just as a preventative really is what I think I started it as. I think now the older I've gotten, it's more like what you're talking about. It's just slowing down. And honestly, drinking it out of a pretty teacup just makes it special. Like my mom has dementia. I think I told you this, Vicky, not long ago. And she's really struggling with us. We're trying to get her to eat, and she's just getting worse. And one day I'm going over to her house, and I thought, you know what? I'm packing up some teacups and some tea. She used to love tea. And she just kept saying, where did these dishes come from? This is so pretty. And she actually, without even thinking about it, ate whatever I put in front of her on that little plate and the pretty teacup. And just, there's just something about it, that's relaxing and fun, makes it special. So, and I have favorite teacups, like different ones that people have given me. And I think of that person when I drink out of the teacup. Or so it's not just the tea itself, it's just the atmosphere you create around it too. So
Oh, that's beautiful. How about Angelique and Victor? I'm curious.
Go ahead, Victor.
I drink tea as a great alternative to, well, I keep iced tea year round in my refrigerator. And
me too.
I figured out the ratio of 4 cups to 4 regular size tea bags. Like I have this makes 2 gallons of perfect iced tea for me. Because
Yeah.
I split the results and then top them off with water and stick them in the fridge. Perfect. And
Yeah.
so I use the hot tea as an alternative. And unfortunately, I don't have any deep meaning. I do it because I like it. I drink it because I like it. And I don't really, I had a cup tonight at the beginning of the show. I've already killed it. And English breakfast blend of all things. So, but I don't have any, I like the benefits of it, but I don't have any, I just drink it because I like it. No, I will guzzle it down. I don't really have a ritual. I do like slowing down a bit, but I'm going to try that, you guys. I'm going to try really putting some intention into my next cup. I'll let you know in 2 weeks how that turns out.
I drink it too because I love it. I'm like, it's my one, I don't know, just I love iced tea. I drink a lot of iced tea myself, and I love peach tea. And I know all the restaurants who have the best brewed tea, and
Passion
iced tea.
fruit. Passion fruit from what is that Chinese restaurant that's a chain in the United States? Panda.
Panda.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you, Angelique, I'm curious.
I like to drink tea. when I want to soothe my body, soothe my nervous system down, calm my mind down. So if I need to, and it puts me in just a really relaxed mental state. And so if something has been, like, I can't find a solution to something that I'm working on, I'll make a cup. Coffee will not give me these results. Tea will give me the result where I will calm down and I will slow down and I'll go, okay, and I'll be able to reframe and reperspectivize whatever it was
Great word.
that I was looking for. And coffee doesn't do that. Coffee just like amps me up, and okay, that puts me in action mode. But tea is like, okay, no, you gotta make your plan before you cross that battlefield. And this is how so that's why I drink tea.
Oh, I love that. So you guys are gonna find this very comical. I was a huge coffee drinker. The running joke used to be, oh, just give me coffee intravenously. Like I lived on coffee. I lived on it. Morning, noon, and night. I don't know how many cups of coffee I had. And the more I got into tea, the more I started drinking it, one, as my coffee alternative, because I was like, this can't possibly be good for my body to have 5 cups of coffee a day. Like, this can't possibly be healthy, right? So that was to help me kick my coffee habit. Then I started falling in love with the flavor profiles. And then I started falling in love with just the health benefits. And this is like slightly embarrassing to admit, but like on the weekends when I eat, and I like to eat whatever I like to eat, so I don't deny myself, right? So I'm like, hey, I run, I deserve a goodie, so I deserve to do something, right? So when I do that, I'm like, all right, I'm drinking my detox tea. I'm gonna have my ginger, my lemongrass. I'm gonna like start flushing whatever just like poisons me. I'm gonna start flushing it out the system because I don't want that sticking around for too long. So now I drink it for kind of like as my coffee alternative because honestly, like it's way too much caffeine for me, how much I used to drink, and then also to just like from a health benefit and a flavor. So for me, it's been definitely like a journey. Like I wasn't like one day I was like, oh my God, like I definitely went through the different chapters of falling in love with tea. And I love and through these conversations, I'm really starting to recognize kind of like that slowing down, and especially with loose tea, right? Like slowing down and really having intent with drinking the tea. So it's nice. All right. I know we've been at this for an hour and a half and it's getting late. So I so appreciate everybody sticking around. But a quick final question. Do you like having like that outside speaker? Do you want me to keep bringing in more outside speakers? Or like, how did this feel? Or do you want it to be like lighter and a little bit more fun? Because I know it got, you know, but I welcome your input. I don't know if it got too heavy, like I welcome your input or just message me.
I think it was perfect. Even though Monique's stuff is kind of heavy, but oh my God, that's good heavy right there.
Yeah.
I'll take that stuff any day of the week. So yeah, I'm good. I like that. I like the format.
What did you think, Vicky?
I mean, I loved it. I can go deep into, I mean, I could have kept her here for 2 hours. Like I felt like she was someone we could just have a conversation for 2 hours with easily, right? And I was like, oh my God, she like belongs in here. At the same time, I also want to respect that it's like a tea party. It's a tea party, right? Like it's a place of fun and lightheartedness and so I think I'm struggling with like, like which way do we go? Because both sides of it appeal to me because I'm like in that Venn diagram and I'm in the middle and I love both. So
Yeah.
Well, I like how you brought her in, but you kind of said, we're only going to have you speak, 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. Like you kept it short and to the point because you're right, it is about the benefits of tea, and or whatever you want it to be about tea, but you're also trying to bring in other health benefits and I think it's just informative, and people can take from it what they want. Now, if you had it, you had her maybe do the whole time, then you're getting away from what you initially wanted this group to be. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, 100%. And that's
Yeah,
exactly why I
yeah,
wanted to cap it to 20
yeah,
to 30 minutes at most,
yeah,
because I didn't want that
yeah,
to dominate the
yeah,
connection, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was great. I think that I always believe in divine interactions. So I'm always just having complete faith in whatever happens because she's the kind of person that I wish I had 5 years ago. Like somebody, if I could have, if she existed 5 years ago, I don't know where she was on her path, maybe even 10, I don't know, 8, maybe. Like I would have hunted her down and said, please help me with everything that you know. So I think it's great to give people the options, especially when they're dealing with something that is as traumatic as, what she helps you with. And I think part of our duty is to kind of show people who's out there to help. So I think that it was great that you added it in there. And I love her depth. I love depth. And, in the human experience, we don't always get to, sometimes our parties are deep, right? So I like every aspect that it brings. And yeah, it was educational, of course. So I think it's good. I think the only thing that I would have changed is maybe sending, and I don't know if I'm getting your emails or not, but maybe sending an email just to getting her website or something beforehand, so that I could read on her or like know about her or what she's doing. So, but that's the only thing I would say.
She was in my email, but since I'm in email jail, I'm not sure who's getting my emails. She was in my email and I had her website and I had like 2 guest speakers. And by the way, do you know what I get? Angelique, do you want to share what your name was in the email?
What was my name in the email? Oh, the Angelique Alchemist. Angelique the Alchemist.
Angelique the Alchemist. That's what. So I called up Angelique late last night. I'm like, Angelique, I'm writing the email. What title do I give you? What are we calling you? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, I can't call you the tea alchemist, but I'll call you the alchemist. And she's like, okay, we can go with that.
That's good, actually, because I do esoteric alchemy on people. So that's actually perfect.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, I might have got your email. I just didn't, I think I took you out of my jail, the junk jail. So I'll have to check and see again. But
Ladies, I have to go. My husband's waiting to talk to
Yes,
me.
thank you
nice
for
to see
joining,
you.
Pam. I hope you
Nice
had
to
a
meet
good
you, Pam.
time. It's so
Thank
fun
you,
to have
Pam.
you. Okay, bye. Oh my God, I know it's getting super late, so I want to be respectful of time, but thank you all for joining.
Super late. My night's just about to start.
Victor, are you doing one of those meditations tonight?
I will be doing it in about 31 minutes
Where are you posting that at?
on YouTube.
Okay.
On YouTube. I'll do we have a chat in here in
Yeah.
this session? Let me pull it up. Here,
Yes, we have the chat.
can I post a link in here? Or do you have to give me any special
Oh.
permission?
Oh, I hope not. You should be able to.
Excuse
I
me.
think you should be able to chat. I'm
Okay.
telling you, by the time May rolls around, we're all gonna do like a thing in person and everybody's gonna lead a different part of it. And it's gonna be like beyond amazing.
Angelique, I posted it in the chat. Hey, if we're
Okay.
gonna do that, we need to meet in Sedona.
Yeah, Sedona's on my list. we've been talking about Sedona for like a year now, Vicky.
Well, if we're doing Sedona, then we have to do it when Bashar is doing a channeling session. And I know Chrissy's going to start screaming right now. She's like, I don't know. Chrissy, are you reacting to us going to a Sedona? I'm talking to my phone because that's where I can see what she's typing. But so I told Victor, I'm like, so Laura and I are thinking about going to Sedona to hear Bashar. And he goes, I'm coming. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Angelique, you're just not going to be able to say no. So I'm just going to basically say you're coming and your cat can come too. So, and I know Christy would be all over that.
She
So,
hasn't responded yet in the chat. I've got your YouTube up on one of my other
oh,
monitors.
you do? You do?
Mhm.
Okay. Yes.
Oh.
And Ashley, I wonder if Ashley.
Okay. One Truth Wave. Is that yours, Victor? One Truth Wave?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
And there's
wanna see
multiple
what
ways. And
what you're
like
talking
tonight,
about these nodes.
just say hi when you're in chat, and I'll give you a shout out. But like I was telling Laura today that and Victoria's mentioned coming back on. Victoria's been on twice, right, Victoria?
I love it. And I want to come again.
And I'm going to try to get Laura and Victoria to come on the same night, and both of them hold nodes live on the show, because you can come and participate in chat and just say, hey, I want to be on this node, or you can come on my show and hold the node, be the primary node holder. It'll make more sense if you watch tonight.
Okay. That's cool. I have so many questions. Wow.
I told you Victor needed to meet Angelique.
That's so cool. Okay.
And
yeah,
if you can't make tonight,
I'll be there tonight.
Okay, because we do it 9 and 9, so 9 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Okay, great. Okay.
And something that's interesting about that, I'm not trying to hijack your show, Victoria. We noticed.
Hijack away. It's our show. It's our collective show. This is not for me.
I'll hijack it.
We've done this twice. We've done this twice now. So today was the second day that we did a morning show. We've been doing the nightly show for 3 months now. So we have 100 and something episodes. And this morning I noticed the energy was very different doing this in the morning. We had a lot of our night crew come in yesterday morning, and the energy, it's really fascinating because, we have energetic cycles throughout our body throughout the day. And it was really interesting how the energy felt a lot different for some time, and then it started to kick in. But something else that's very interesting, if you come tonight and you're present, Angelique, you'll notice a certain amount of energy, because I can tell when there's more present people there, because we might have 20 people watching, but 5 of them or 10 of them are passive, and then some of them are kind of having on in the background while they're cleaning. I can tell how many people are actively participating. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Wow.
And it's not like it's just because I work with energy. That's my thing. I work with it all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. It's like any other practice.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of asking Victor all about his meditations in a podcast episode that's coming out. So look for that, you guys, anybody listening. That'll be posted, and you can learn about the nodes. We went pretty deep into explaining what that means versus, attendance versus why energy is important and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun.
That was wonderful. Thank you for inviting me to do that today, Laura.
Yeah, I learned so much.
I'm sorry. I was responding to Chrissy, who is screaming. She's like, I'm screaming at Sedona. Wait, Laura, can you repeat that again? I don't want to miss what you just said about working with Victor.
Oh, I just said that I had the pleasure of interviewing Victor for a podcast episode coming out soon. So we talked all about what he does, all about his meditation, the morning and evening meditations, his YouTube channel, how to contact him, holding the nodes of the energy when people are holding a spot for that frequency, and also the attendance, and just, why energy work is so important, and we were really, I think the conversation kind of went into the people that are awake, but also the ones that are awakening too. You know, when you first step into some understanding that things aren't the way they seem. So the conversation surprisingly went to serve many. So yeah, that'll be coming out soon. And we went really deep into energy, you know, as deep as we could in the time allotted. So it was,
The hour and a half.
yeah, yeah.
To your point, Victoria, because so we have that, all three of us have that same problem with each other going on. We could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours. So it's interesting. And the great thing about bringing up Sedona too, and I mentioned this to Laura, is doing this meditation will help you. My first time in Sedona in early, like, what was it, March of 2016, I got wiped out. Sedona wiped me out. And that's where I felt energy for the first time in my hands. And back then it would just wipe me out because I didn't know how to work with it. I didn't know how to deal with it and harness it. And so that's what we're learning. That's what we practice on every night. And you guys will be prepared. You got all of us, if we're, if you start coming and doing this and you're aware of it, you won't get wiped out when you go to Sedona. You'll be like, yeah, give it to me. Give it to me. And I'm going to thrive. So
Well, I'm looking
So,
forward to.
um, 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 so
Okay,
I'm,
when we
I'm
go
writing
to-
Christy, and this is what she's screaming about Sedona. And then I said it would be a dream come true if we can do wellness, Bashar, Sedona, Victor meditation, Angelique, alchemy.
we have to go to Bell Tower. If there's a tower in Stona, it's called Bell Tower, and it's off the beaten path. But somebody I know who went there, it's one of the most powerful vortexes there. I'll be going there.
Bell Rock.
and
Yeah,
if we
Bell
get,
Rock.
Bell Rock. There
if we
you
go
go,
on a
Bell
Tuesday
Rock.
night,
Yeah.
if we're there over a Tuesday, we can go out and do the dance because there's usually a dance there on Tuesday nights on Bell Rock at the
Oh
base
my
of it.
gosh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's not too
Well,
high
this
up
is
on it.
exciting.
I'm like starting to hide myself just from you saying that. I'm like, wait, what?
What about the
Well,
dance?
this is gonna happen.
Oh no! And you know what else is legal in Arizona?
Oh God. Well, when they see my tea, that's when they go. They're like, what is this? And I'm like, nope, not for that, no, for those purposes. I can't tell you what to do. But Angelique, they all want to smoke my tea. Like the people
Oh, that's what you're
whose
talking
mind
about.
works that way, they all want to. They're like, so I was in this one
God.
super hippie town. Okay. I have to go on a small tangent. May I? Okay, 3 more seconds and I promise I'm letting you go. So what I'm noticing and what I really love about my tea business is that I get to go to different townships in New Jersey because I do my street fairs. And so I get to speak to the local collective. And what I'm learning is that they really are a collective and they live where they live for a reason. And it's amazing the way that they will all gravitate towards a particular flavor, or they'll gravitate towards a particular problem. So yesterday, for example, like my teas are going to be carried at this Greenwood Gardens. So we were talking and I'm like, oh my God, when I was doing it in this township, everybody was asking me about sleep. She goes, oh my God, that's exactly what we struggle with. I'm like, yeah, because you're in this township. So you're you're struggling with the same exact issue. So where I'm going with this is I was in this one township and it's kind of like hippie, but it's like very affluent, but super hippie. So you know how my teas come in these vials because I'm like the alchemy looking about. So these guys, and it would be men who would come up to me and they'd be like, is this sweet? And I'd be like, no, this is tea. And they'd be like grabbing them and they'd be like, oh, you should be selling this like weed. I'm like, no, I'm not selling this like weed. This is tea. And they're like, oh my God, I bet you could smoke it. So then they would be taking out their like little papers. I was like, no, I was like, get away from like my area. You do what you want to do on your own time. You don't do this around me.
Meanwhile, Angelique and I are like, it's been legal up in our neck of the woods forever now. It's
Yeah.
legal in Oregon too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's old news here. It's like, eh.
I think it's
Yeah,
I think
Washington
New Jersey too.
legal right after Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's medical here.
It's medical. Really? In Oklahoma. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Not that I would know or have any reason to know.
No, none whatsoever.
No,
You
my mom was a baby boy.
you tell them to go and to leave your premises, and that nothing like that ever goes on there, like that goes on there. So anyways, yeah. Um, Chrissy's dying. She's dying. So, okay. Anyways, all right. I wish Chrissy and Ashley. So, lessons learned. Don't get fancy with technology. Don't get fancy with Zoom. Just set it up the old-fashioned way. I was like, oh, people could register this way. It would be so much easier. But nope. Every time I try to make it easier, it gets harder. I don't know.
Hey, alternatively, Victoria,
Yes.
if we get a big enough group, maybe say 30 people, that's a lot. And we have somebody that can really get it well organized. Pam might be able to do that. And everyone chip in and help. The thing is, we might be able to get Bashar to come to us specifically if he's not scheduled. We make it happen. Wouldn't that be something?
Really? I
Good
don't think
Lord.
is
Why not?
enough.
Why not?
I
Oh.
feel like you need 1,000 for Bashar. I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to make that assumption. You might just need $10,000. It depends on what his speaking fee is.
Yeah, if it's gonna cost us all that much to go there, right? It might just be. I got some Airbnb rooms here, and Angelique does too, I think.
But you guys have some in Sedona?
No, in our neck of the woods.
Oh,
But
okay, in
yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon, Washington. But I know that Bashar used to do well, one thing I wanted to say is his ship is apparently over Bell Rock, X amount of feet, and that's kind of
700
one of
feet.
the 700, one of the things he's constantly reporting. And then the other thing is he used to do private one-on-ones where you could, get into a group of four and or not one-on-ones, I guess, but like four people split the cost and then he does readings. And I've wanted to do that, but I don't know if he's currently doing anything like that. I know that hasn't been doing one-on-one, but I used to have all these questions and now I'm just like, I don't even know what I would ask. I would just sit in the energy now because you just kind of get used to figuring things out on your own, I guess. But the energy would be amazing.
That synchronicity though that happened earlier in the week, because I had a whole bunch of them. Remember with the logo? Because
Yeah.
sent the Bashir logo to me, and I had that conversation with you, Laura. And since you guys, I don't know if you regularly watch my show, I'm not sure if you do or not, but in my kitchen a couple nights ago, I found this hanging above my head that one of my artist friends made for me years ago. And that's a Fibonacci circle, just like in my logo, just like it. And I had no idea. So there's another synchronicity. And then remember telling me about a book the other night, Victoria? The other day, you told me about a book. Late after my show, I was looking up that book and I found one of the little catchphrases from it. And I sent it to Victoria. And she's like, "You're not going to believe this." And I was like, "What?" And then she goes, and then she sends me a cover of the very book that I sent her the little passage from. Exactly. It's just, I love synchronicity and I appreciate it and I'm grateful for it. I love when they happen. Oh, okay, get off my horse.
Yeah, me too. It's showing you something. It's pretty cool because I have a triangle that Robert got me years ago, and it's basically rainbow colored, and it has that.
Show us.
It's upstairs.
Oh,
I just have this one right here. This one doesn't have. This one is onyx or just.
Oh, look at that.
that's nice.
I like it.
Yeah, but it has the one that I'm talking about. It has that pattern on it. And I know Bashar's symbol, it means something, the 3 circles. And I can't remember what it is, but then I learned about Bashar. So I owned it before I learned. And then when I saw his logo, I was like, you know what that reminds me of? So yeah, a lot of synchronicities happened because he was also like holding out a vision during that first meditation. And I saw the spiral like circling. So my mind was answering a question that he asked me earlier in the day, right? It was really kind of weird how the timing of it unfolded, but yeah, that symbol has been coming up quite a lot, I'll say.
Interesting.
The way I discovered Bashar was I'd heard of him for a long time, just like the book, Victor. I think I told you it took me a year to actually read it because I'd heard of it. So I heard of Bashar. I heard everybody referring to him. Then we go on our ski vacation last year, and everybody's skiing except for me. I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk. So I put on YouTube out of nowhere. Bashar starts like being on everywhere on my YouTube feed. So I click on it and I'm like, oh, well, what is this? Then at first it was like an interview with Daryl Anka. Then it was, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Then I'm like, wait a minute, that's Bashar. And then he goes on to explain, and then all of a sudden, I just couldn't stop listening to him. It was like, and I would just like listen to everything I could find by him. And it was just like Bashar 24 hours. It was just insane. I was obsessed. So yeah, it just kind of happens for you. It just happens for you.
Do you mind if I post my link in your YouTube chat? So
Please
Chrissy,
do. Could you
and
please?
are you
Yeah.
Victoria K as well?
That's my
Hey.
other channel. But
Okay.
yeah, just post it. Please, please,
Okay.
please.
See if it goes. Yeah, it went. Okay. So my link is in there for those of you in the chat. There's at least 4 in there, so maybe counting us.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I've had a wonderful time, Vicky, Laura, Angelique. I've got to go because I've got to do a little bit of show prep.
Yes.
And we go live at 8:45 Central, and I'll chit chat and stuff like that. And we'll talk about the meditation. We actually do an energy experiment every night or every session in the AM and the PM. I'll send one of 3 types of energies out to everyone. And then at the end, after the meditation, I reveal and see if who's picking it up. But it's energy that we work with during the meditation. So it's like, you already know the energy. You just have to see which one I'm sending to you at that given time. So, hey, it's nice meeting you,
Very cool.
Angelique.
Yeah.
It's good seeing you again,
Nice
Laura.
to meet you too. I'll see you soon.
Guys, see you later.
Bye.
Victor. Bye.
Hey, Victor.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I want to get into this solopreneur community too, because I feel like we could get like we're all each other's audiences, too. So we're kind of all filling in magical little spaces as to what we're offering, and I think it's pretty cool.
I know. I was thinking about that and I was like, oh my God, I should have promoted the tea party in the global community. And I didn't even think to do, like, I literally didn't even think to do that. And so that's okay. Like, we keep learning and we keep evolving. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
good.
I think as soon as we do like a live gathering so that everybody can kind of meet each other and get to know each other, it'll be a little bit more clear as to how we can all join forces and in certain ways and promote each other's thing in there and just kind of support each other, because everybody is so connected. I feel the energy connections within the group, and it's like now we have a space. So I'm slowly getting that on the calendar. And yeah, I kept trying to do a welcome video yesterday, and one thing after, it was like yesterday was my tech day. Like the microphone stopped working in the middle. I was just like, okay, I'm done. So yeah, I just kind of called it quits, but it's coming together. I think there's like 15 people in there now, some new people. So I'm really kind of excited about that because they're coming in from like all different places, all kinds of walks of life, and all like Canada, Mexico, England, it's literally global. So it's really fun. And I love being online because of this. It just gives us so much. It just makes us unlimited in a different way. So it's coming together. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is awesome. Thank you. I fiddled with LinkedIn last night and I launched my executive lounge group. Now I'm going to start populating content in there too. So I'm hoping to get it from both like Facebook as well as LinkedIn and start, bringing people together that way. So it's all going to happen.
Does LinkedIn host something like that, or what is the LinkedIn hosts a group?
I launched the Executive Tea Lounge, and now I want to start like promoting it on my LinkedIn feed
Oh,
and to start bringing people into the executive tea lounge. And then out of that, I want to bring them onto the tea parties for that like next level of connection. So then
mm.
I want to bring like the Facebook and the LinkedIn together.
Oh, I see. Is that on Kajabi or is that on your website?
It's nowhere. It's in
Oh,
here.
oh, okay. I was like, you launched. I was just trying to understand what you were saying because I heard launch and executive, and I thought that you had already like
Well, it's just
made it.
like it's a free group, right? And on LinkedIn you can launch groups just the way you
Mm.
can launch them on Facebook.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you're kind of like tapping into the audience that's already on the platform, and you're just like starting to bring them into your little ecosystem.
That makes sense.
So,
And I feel like people on LinkedIn need it too, right? Because they're go, 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 go. So,
and go some more.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least the majority.
Oh yeah. I was in LA last week. I'll tell you all about it when I chat with you. So, yeah, for sure. They need it.
Well,
But
that's good. The more you know. Well, are you guys, I'm gonna jump in on I was like, I don't know if I could come because I've been like in meeting and meeting and meeting and meeting. And I always tell myself, like, that's no excuse not to meditate because, Victor's meditation, I think it's 11 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, I have no excuse, but I still have a newsletter to write and some other stuff. So I'll pop in there and I won't hold a node today, but I do want to do that eventually. So I'll just attend the meditation. It was pretty cool last time, Angelique. I really liked it. I think you will too.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I want to find out about the nodes he's talking about. I'm always interested. Whenever there's something that I haven't been exposed to yet, I'm like, wow, what is that? So I'm very excited to see what that's about.
Yeah, Chrissy, I think might do it too because he's like, I do it twice daily. So I think she might do it too. This is so beautiful. I love the way that it's coming together. So nice. All right, ladies.
All right.
It's been a day
Well,
for everybody.
well, what's that?
I said
Thank
it's
you,
been a day for
Vicky.
everybody. No. By the way, Angelique, I want to celebrate you. I'm celebrating you because I think that you did such an
Why?
amazing job presenting and sharing the information. It was wonderful.
Oh my God. Thank you, Vicky. You're too kind.
That
Thank
was
you.
great. I agree with Vicky. It was great.
I think it
I
was
hope somebody,
great.
my intent is just to have somebody expand that to another, just expand your mind a bit. That's what I do. Just stretch your mind like a rubber band, just a little bit, then let it come back, and then just expand your energy a bit. So I hope I did that. I hope somebody listening went, oh my God, I didn't know I was doing ethnobotany, or because it's such a vast field. It covers everything. It's our interaction with the plants in the environment that we live in. It's everything. So it's just so encompassing, and it can be taken to so many levels. So it's amazing.
Well, I loved when you brought in the fact that they're fire, like cinnamon and nutmeg, and that,
Yeah.
masculine energies, and that they're all representative of fire. I'm like, ooh, that's a whole new level of understanding I never had. So I started writing down some of the things that you were saying. So I'd love to I can chat with you offline about that. But I thought that was really, really cool and not something that you can just find anywhere. So
Yeah,
I'm glad you found use of it.
definitely.
it explains a lot of my fireball days, back in when you're younger and you're drinking fireball because it's freezing outside. I'm like, all the cinnamon drinks. I'm like, oh, I get it now. There's a natural attraction to that when it's cold outside. So
Hmm.
it explains it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. And like
Fireball. Oh my
if you think
God.
about it, there's so much cinnamon and nutmeg in this time of season, during this season. So that
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right, ladies.
Okay. All right. Have an
Well, good to
amazing.
see you. We'll see you all
Yes.
again soon.
Good to see you. Okay. Have a
Good to
wonderful
see you.
night. Okay.
Well, you too.
Take
See
care.
you later. Bye, Vicky. Bye, Angelique.